F1 2022. Do I really care about it? Do I understand it? Have I been taking any of it in? Well, I'm going to be finding out for you guys by taking on this quiz of how closely have you been following F1 2022 so far. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. You were going to be talking about the new Formula 1 game and not Formula 1 in real life. Technically, you kind of got clickbaited. However, you technically didn't because the game's called F1 22, and I specifically said F1 2022. I'm just being annoying there. But anyway, I thought I'd do this. For some reason, these quiz videos, they always do kind of well. And considering it's an F1 quiz, I'm doing it. So let's get straight into it then. The start of the 2022 season has been exhilarating with 4 races. Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Australia and Imola have provided us with moments of individual brilliance, drama and incredible racing. Charles Leclerc and Ferrari have enjoyed the best getaway in the standings after winning the first 2 of the 4 races, while all 10 teams have scored points. However, we want to check how closely you've been following these Grand Prix this year. Test your knowledge of the 2022 season so far with this quiz below, and I'm ready to do it. Hopefully you guys are ready as well. Join along. Let me know how you did in the comment section down below. If you like the video by clicking it, and then subscribe as well. I was badly done. Let's get straight into it. It's like Latifi all over again. Right, let's have a look at this then. We've got Ferrari's 2022 car. It's the F175. What was their last year's car? Was it the SF90, the F174, the F2121, or the SF21? It was the SF21 was their car. A lot of people went with the SF90. Wow, okay. The Ferrari's 2021 car was in fact called the SF21. There's one thing to know about Ferrari. Never trust them when it comes to keeping their car names intact because they just keep changing it all the time. It's really annoying. Which of these didn't happen to Aston Martin Australia? They did 1 lap without crashing. Is that in there or not? Sebastian Vettel got fined for speeding in the pit lane. Lance Stroll got a grid penalty for impeding a driver in FP2. Sebastian Vettel got fined for riding a moped on track at FP1. Both cars crashed in FP3. Oh shit, I actually kind of low-key don't know. Vettel got fined for driving a moped. Did Lance Stroll get a grid penalty? No, you don't really get grid penalties for impeding drivers in FP2. You never do. Oh wow, it was a massive swing in the other direction. Sebastian Vettel got fined twice in Australia for speeding in the pit lane and for riding a moped in the end of FP1, and both Aston Martins did crash in FP3. However, Lance Stroll did not get a grid penalty for impeding. Did Stroll crash in FP3? I can't even remember. But wow, 45% of people went with Vettel, one of Vettel's fines there. So interesting that. So we are in the minority. So far we're doing great. Now, let's have a look. Max Verstappen beat Charles Leclerc by 0.549 seconds at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, which was the closest margin of victory at a race since when? The 2021 Azerbaijan Grand Prix, the 2020 Bahrain Grand Prix, the 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, or the 2020 Italian Grand Prix. That's actually kind of, well, it's definitely not Azerbaijan because Perez won that. Vettel was a little bit further back. The 2020 Bahrain Grand Prix, that was a 4-second gap between Hamilton and Verstappen. I think it was 4.5 seconds. The Abu Dhabi Grand Prix was about 1 second. I think it was the Italian Grand Prix because Sainz still had DRS on Gasly at that time. And that is correct. What did we just do? Pierre Gasly beat Carlos Sainz by 0.415 at the Italian Grand Prix to seal his first victory in Formula 1. There we go. We got that one correct. We're off to a great start here, lads. I'm bowling right now. Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz failed to finish in the podium places at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. But when was the last time, Ferrari finished on the podium at Imola? Well, they did not get a podium in 2021. They did not get a podium in 2020. Did they get a podium in 2006? I'm sure they got one in 06. I'm sure they did. Yeah, they got one in 06. Schumacher got victory in 06. That was the last time they got podium. Alright, fair dues. Alex Albon finished P10 for Williams at the Australian Grand Prix, but that was Williams' first points in Australia since Australia. Oh, shit. 19 it wouldn't have been. It probably would have been 2017, to be honest, but then they didn't have a great car in 17. I'll go with 17. Yeah, it was 17. Oh, wow, a lot of people went with 2016. Before Massa finished in P6 in 2017, which was the last time Williams scored points at Melbourne. I'm I'm doing great so far. I think I'm definitely showcasing some knowledge here. We're not going to get that into perspective here. Kevin Magnussen was set to race sports cars for which manufacturer in the World Endurance Championship in 2022 before his call up to Haas? That's a great question. I have no idea. It's either Cadillac or Peugeot. And I'm just going to rock it and say it was Cadillac, because sod it. Okay, I didn't know it was Peugeot. All right, fine. We've got... In my defense, that's got nothing to do with the F1 2022 season, so I still do care. That's awkward. Right, Carlos Sainz. Retirement in Australia meant that his streak of race finishes came to an end. But how long was this streak? 28, 29, 30, or 31? Good question. I have no idea. He scored. I know he scored points from Austria last year all the way till that point. I think it was the lowest of 28. Fuck me, it was 31. First time since 2020 Russian Grand Prix that Sainz didn't finish a race. Okay, fair play. I had no idea. Nico Hülkenberg filled in for Sebastian Vettel in the first two races of the season in Bahrain and Jeddah. But prior to Bahrain, when was his last Grand Prix? That was the 2020 Eiffel Grand Prix. A lot of people may have picked the 70th anniversary Grand Prix, but he did it at the Nürburgring, and he had a cracking race as well. Lewis Hamilton finished in 10th at the 2022 Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, his first time finishing in this position since which race? The 2012 European Grand Prix, he crashed out. He did not... No, it was 2012 Korea. Yeah, definitely. It was 2012 Korea that he did that. After qualifying third. Yeah, he had a bad race in Korea. I remember that race as well. I love Korea. Charles Leclerc competed the Grand Slam, the win, pole, fastest lap, led every lap, at the Australian Grand Prix to make him the second Ferrari driver in the last 18 years to achieve this. But who was the other? Was it Vettel, Alonso, Raikkonen, or Massa? All of them are naughty drivers. I think it was Alonso, though. It was. Okay, sweet. Fernando Alonso won... it was 2010 in Singapore. Wow. Because he finished really close to Vettel in that race. That was like an 8/10 of a second victory for Alonso. Fair play. Only one driver has finished in the top 5 in every race so far this season. It is a man in which I am rocking full team outfit for. George Russell with Mercedes-Benz. Credit to George Russell. Speaking of George Russell, he's had a cracking season so far. You know, he is dragging that dog of Mercedes up. At the time I'm recording this, Mercedes went quickest in FP2 on Friday, which was quite interesting in Miami. I ain't going to take it with a pinch of salt. You probably know by now I'm a Mercedes fan. Am I taking the hype of being fastest in practice? No. Because I know the Mercedes W13 is really hard to set up. And the fact is that if Ferrari and Red Bull finds a step, Mercedes could easily make changes to their car and it just makes it even worse. And all of a sudden they're on the back foot. The following statement is true. At Imola, Mercedes failed to get their car into Q3 for the first time ever. That's false. Lando Norris has finished on the podium in the last 3 races held in Italy. So we've got a podium in the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. That's true. That's the one. That is 100% true. In Lando Norris, because he got the 1-2 for McLaren in Monza and then double podium in Italy. That's true, actually. Lando Norris should just race it. Which 2022 car is the VF22? Haas. That's so... Okay, right. That's easy. Yeah. Moving on. There's nothing to say about that. After the opening 4 races of the season, all 10 teams have now scored points. The first time this has happened in since which year? Did everybody score points in 2017? Haas definitely did. Who was the back markers? Sauber did. Sauber surely did. 18, Williams scored points. And they were the slowest car. McLaren scored points. It's got to be the first time since 2018. Yeah, it was 2018. Wow, a lot of people went with 2017. Wow. Okay. I presume because McLaren and Williams had the slowest car in that year, but McLaren had a car that scored points, and Williams were able to score points in races that had a straight line in it. Which team has had both drivers start and complete every race so far this season? Haas, Alfa Romeo, McLaren, Mercedes. That would be... Well, between McLaren... I would say Mercedes, because they've started and they've finished every race. Hamilton, I know, finished a lap down in Imola, but yeah, Mercedes have finished every single race. They've done all they needed to do. Which 2022 car is the A522? Oh, shite. That's definitely not Aston Martin. It's not AlphaTauri and it's not Alfa Romeo. I'm sure that their Alpine are called something else. But then, no, because Aston Martin at the AMR 22. So it's Alpine with the A5 22. Yeah, good question, that one. That's probably going to catch a few people out, that one. Prior to Charles Leclerc's pole at the 2022 Australian Grand Prix, Lewis Hamilton had taken every pole position in Melbourne since 2014. But who took pole in 2013? Wasn't that Vettel? Was it Vettel or Alonso? No, it was Vettel, because it was Vettel, Alonso, Raikkonen, I think it was. Yeah, it was Vettel was the last driver to take pole since Lewis Hamilton. Interesting stat there. Guan Yu Zhou is the only rookie driver on this year's grid. But what is his driver number? I have not been taking accustomed to his driver number. Is it 24? 26? 20? I actually don't know what his number is. The problem is I don't care about Zhou Guanyu, so I'm not that bothered. Is it 26? I think it's 26. Oh, for Christ's sake. I literally said, oh, I should have just gone with my head, which was 24. Never mind, we move. Red Bull secured a 1-2 finish at Imola, which was the first time since the 2016 Malaysian Grand Prix that they achieved that. Of course, Rosberg got hit off into turn 1 by Vettel, and then Lewis Hamilton was leading comfortably until his engine blew up. And I cried. So we move. The opening race of the in Bahrain was the first time that both Red Bull cars did not finish a race since the 2020 season. But which Grand Prix from that year did they double DNF in? The 2020 Spanish Grand Prix, Verstappen got a podium. The 2020 Austrian Grand Prix was B, the correct answer, because Albon DNF'd because of an electrical problem right at the end, and Verstappen just had a car problem. So yeah, they didn't finish in that one. He completed 90% of the laps, so he was classified, finishing in 13th, but he still did not finish. And then we go. So we got, what is that, 3 questions wrong? We got 3 questions wrong. So we got 17 out of 20, which means that we get to spray some champagne in there, and we've done a good job. Guys, what did you think of this quiz? Did you do well? Did you flop it? And do you genuinely care about F1 2022? I think, considering one of the questions was to do with where Kevin Magnussen was actually going to drive in sports cars, I do think that I care about F1 2022. Guys, let me know how you got on in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, drop it a like, subscribe if you're new around here as well. I'll catch you guys for the next video on my channel very soon. Take care all. Peace.